Right?
You know, all you need to do is just.
Ready to call to order?
Need to create a plan.
Are we ready? Yep. Okay. Call to order the October 11th, 2017 Oregon City Library Board meeting at 5:03. Present from the board are D.A. Hildebrand, Eileen Sheridan, Dan Wright, Scott Edwards, Ken Hall, Lara Ingram, sorry about that, Jan Wallander, and from the library, Maureen Cole and Denise Butcher. May I check and see if there are any changes in the agenda for today that was sent out? Anybody has any?
It doesn't look like we need to move anything around since we don't have
Anybody
people
to
reporting
speak?
from the Friends or and we could just do the foundation whenever.
Okay. So our first agenda item is a presentation, and I think, Mo, I'll let you do the introductions.
I was contacted by Phyllis Hines, who I've worked with. She is, what's your chapter name?
Susanna Lee Barlow.
Susanna Lee Barlow of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I've worked with Phyllis in the past. They regularly do a display like once a year at the library. And she said, would you mind if I made a presentation to the library board? We have something for you. And I said, no, please do come. And so I would like to introduce Phyllis and come on up to here. I'll roll up a chair for you up here.
Make sure her mic's on there.
Yeah. Get this out of the way. The mic is on, and let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Good evening.
Thank you. Welcome.
I want to explain before I present the book to Maureen. I wanted to explain how this book came about. In 2015, our chapter became commemorative partners with the United States commemorative program in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And shortly after we became commemorative partners, we volunteered at Milwaukee's Moving Wall event where they had the replica of the Vietnam Wall there. And we worked at the lookup table where people would come to the table and ask us where they might find a name of somebody that meant something to them on the wall, and we would show them on the wall where they would go find it, and they'd come back and talk to us afterwards. It was a very moving process to go through to see the people experience finding those names on the wall. And one of the things that they had done was on the table were the obituaries of the 15 fallen from Milwaukee High School. And those were very meaningful to the people who came. So we decided as a chapter we would like to do that for Oregon City's fallen. And so we started researching and knew that there were 8 of the Oregon City young men who died from Oregon City High School, died in Vietnam. When we started reading their stories, we decided it wasn't enough to do the 8. So we chose to look at all the Clackamas County young men who died in the Vietnam War. And at that time, we found 44 names from Clackamas County and decided to put them into a book. And the intention of the book is to not just be statistics, but to tell the stories of these young people who gave their lives. And so we worked on the book. It took us 2 years to complete. Still feel like it will never quite be done. We're still reaching out to families and hoping that we'll find families that we can get more personal information into the books. Through the association that we have with the book, with the City of Milwaukee and the American Legion Post 180 in Milwaukee, we have also become involved in the monument that's being built right now in Milwaukee, adjacent to the Leading Library. And so proceeds from our book are going towards the support of that monument, which will be dedicated on Veterans Day at 11 o'clock on November 11th. So our book is called Remembering the Vietnam War, the Clackamas County Fallen. And it commemorates the lives of the 44 men we researched at that time. And we're finding that there may be more that our people are starting to come forward and saying they did live in Clackamas County at some point in their lives. And so we're researching that. But for now, we had chosen to donate a book to each of the Clackamas County libraries. And I wanted to do a formal presentation here because this is the first book we are presenting. And so we wanted to present this to the Oregon City Public Library from the Susanna Lee Barlow chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it.
We're hoping that it will let families know that the lives of their loved ones have not been forgotten.
Yeah, that's really important.
Thank you so much. That's an incredible story, incredible work that your chapter is doing.
Very
Wow.
moving.
How many
It's a hard
people
read.
are in your chapter that
Our
are working
chapter-
on this?
Not a lot have been working on it. Heather Trimco has done the lion's share of the typing. Several of us did research. We went and found all their graves, placed flags on them in honor of them, and we photographed all of them. And Heather found the obituary. So it's been a few people, but the lion's share's been like 4 or 5 of us.
Does it include their letters from home, or it's
Some of them, they include obituaries if we found them, any of the memories that were left online on the Vietnam Wall or site, some testimonies that we've gotten. So we know there's more stories to tell.
Yeah.
With the Oregon City young men, we went to the high school and researched in their yearbook and found all about their lives and sports and clubs and things that they were involved in. And we'd like to do that with the others, but we haven't been to the other high schools yet.
This is lovely.
And so have you been contacting families or just letting that happen sort of?
We're trying through social media right now, and we are also, there's supposed to be press coverage starting this week, building up because the monument is actually being built right now, and the site's been prepared, and it'll be this fabulous monument with one side will be, as you walk in, one side will be blank. That's where you see your reflection, seeing yourself become part of this experience. One side is talking about the commemorative partners of the city and the post, then the list of the names, and then a dedication to the families. And then there's 2 benches there that will be dedicated. Also, one of them's going to have our name because we're sponsoring one bench.
Very nice.
It's
and
beautiful.
This is right next to the Library.
Yeah, right to the left in that Scott Park, and it's a beautiful setting.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
really, really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so touched that you gave us this one for the first
Yeah.
Really How about a picture?
Yeah,
Why don't you
picture.
stand like right here in Denise Wall? We can get these guys kind of.
Photo-
Why don't you take it from there?
Photo bomb in?
From over here. And then
Do you want us to
kind of
stand, or do you want us?
Yeah, why don't you stand?
You shall be upstanding.
All right.
We can get any closer, maybe also
Yeah,
What do you think?
got a bunch up,
Gonna
folks.
work?
bunch up, yeah.
Bunch up.
I'll take it from a couple
Bunch up,
different
bunch up.
Okay.
There we go. Look right between her.
Although that one is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's just us, yeah.
That one's better.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you so much for having me come.
Thanks.
I know. Well, that's a surprise, isn't it? A pleasant one.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck with your research.
Thank you.
Yes.
And if you hear, pass the word yourselves, you're asking about how we're publicizing this. If you know of anybody who might know of anybody, we know a lot of the parents are gone now, but siblings and children are still around. And we want to personally invite them. They might hear about it through media, but we want to have a personal invitation if we can.
Thank you.
I'm sending it right now, so you'll get it right away.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess the book has contact information. That's okay.
It's kind of
Do you
fun
have a
to do.
question? Do you have a question, Eileen?
I was just wondering about contact information, so, you know, if people do,
Oh,
there's probably something in the book, I'm sure.
yeah, there are probably some, I've got Phyllis's email.
If you could forward it.
Yeah.
Because I,
I'll forward it to you guys with the pictures. How's that?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's amazing. So somehow going to minutes seems like,
I know, so boring.
yeah. But moving on. So our next agenda item is approval of the minutes from September. I assume everybody's had a chance to review them. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes?
I move they be approved as presented.
Okay, then I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second to approve the minutes of September. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Minutes are approved. So we're on to director's report.
Yes. Last month always seemed so far away when I'm looking at it from the second Wednesday of the following month. Because everything, so much happens like every day that it's kind of crazy. But so at our training that we had on Monday with all of Link, we've started doing that. This is our third year that we have it on Columbus Day because a lot of people already think we're probably going to be closed anyway. So we just decide, the directors just decide that's a great day to get together. And this year, we mostly were celebrating the fact that we completed the RFID project, which was really, really big. And so that more or less got wrapped up in September with the installation of the automated materials handler at Lake Oswego, which is huge apparently, especially compared to ours. But let me tell you, today, after being closed for 2 days and checking in books from 2 days, it was really great having that materials handler. Yeah, let me tell you, people were really, really thrilled. So that thing is paying for itself for sure. So as far as RFID is going, you know, it's pretty well done in the county. And, you know, we're just thrilled to pieces with it. And our patrons mostly seem happy with it. You know, there are a few people who just don't want to touch that stuff. And I'm sure Denise could tell you stories. But people who I talk to, they love it. And our self-checkout has gone up just a little bit. It was already at 80.3%, and now it's at 80.7%. So first-time checkout, all the stuff that would normally go through staff hands at the front desk is now done on our like 5 self-check machines in the building. And people are more in charge of checking in their materials themselves too. So it's just great. We had a leak on the roof, mostly due to leaves in the whatever. I think Ann's got that figured out, but it was interesting seeing water gushing into the building. Yeah, I know. But on the last rainstorm today that we just had, that big gusher, I had Denise check and it's dry. So I think we got that taken care of.
How about the basement in the Carnegie?
Well, that's where it was gushing.
No, okay.
It was coming out of the wall on the 7th Street side where the Carnegie comes together with the Addition. It was on the Carnegie side. And so something got clogged up there, came over the top of the membrane and stuff, and it came down inside the wall. And down through the basement. Yeah. And fortunately, somebody from Parks just happened to be routing around down in the basement looking for something. Otherwise, we would not have known. And it was awesome because he also was somebody who could run up to the roof and help get the clogs out of the system. So I was like, oh my God, your timing is just great. So we had yesterday, of course, this is going to be in next month's report. Yesterday, we had our warranty walkthrough because now the Carnegie has been open a year as well. I know. So it's been like a full year. I know it, right?
Fast.
It's crazy.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And then yesterday we also had our first annual cleaning day. So we closed for the day and we basically had a big spring cleaning. All the stuff that the custodian does not get to do. You know, we were like wiping down walls, we were wiping down baseboards, we were wiping down dust off the top of signs. I mean, anything we could think of, we were doing it. And just to help maintain the condition of the building, wiping down chairs that from like art class that get little pieces of paint on it and stuff, you know. So there was plenty to keep us busy all day. Next year we might even have to do more than one day. But anyway, that just happened. And
You
so,
do gum under the tables?
you know, I didn't,
Just one.
I was not in charge of those kinds of tables.
All your mind works.
Yeah,
Something you can check out, DA.
yeah, next time you're here. That sounds like a question from somebody who like,
Got in trouble and
used to
Yeah.
do that, right? But we do know that like a lot of people have food in there even though they're not supposed to, because there's, food kinds of stains on some of the chairs and stuff. And it's like, well, maybe it'll help staff enforce those rules, Anyway. So,
And who does all that? Who did all that cleaning? Your staff? did all that?
yeah.
Ah,
Well, we let them know about it like 2 months ago. It's like, we will be closing, you will be here, and you will be cleaning. And actually,
It's kind of fun.
it's kind of fun because it's something really, really different to do, And you have the building to yourself without patrons for the day. It's like awesome being in a library without patrons. It's really fun. Hi.
See if I left a pair of glasses.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you did.
Now we can go
Are
home.
these yours
Yeah.
too?
No, they're not.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. So speaking of staff, Judy Corliss, I may have mentioned to you guys that she'll be retiring at the end of November. And today we posted the opening for that position. We're changing it slightly. Last month, we hired 2 people in a 30-hour-a-week position as a library assistant too, and that's what we're changing this one to as well. So a lot of the tasks that position would be doing if they were 40 hours a week, Denise has picked up. And so we really think we can get away with a 30-hour-a-week person. We'll try it. If not, then we can change it. We can always add hours, but it's hard to cut people if you start them at 40. So yeah, we'll test that out. So that went out today. I'm sure that a bunch of our existing staff will apply for that. So in September, we had about 33,000 people in the building, kind of keeping up that above 30,000 number that we've maintained since last February. So it's not like a summer month, but we didn't expect it to be like a summer month where we got up to as high as 40,000. September, it does drop off. So that's still really healthy. And, things are just going really, really well. Denise and I have started the strategic planning process by talking to somebody from the state library who is a person who can help us with that entire process, and kind of she outlined what it would look like. Denise has done this before. Well, I've done it before too, but Denise has done it before using this particular method, and it's a book called Planning for Results, and a lot of it's library specific, and a lot of libraries use it. So we started doing that, just kind of figuring out a timeline and those kinds of things. So we will be looping you guys in at the appropriate time. We hope to have a formal stakeholder meeting stuff happen in February, March in there. And so probably what we will be looking for from this group is one representative to that stakeholder group at that time. Laura, Eileen, you're leaving us, you're creating openings, which that's what happens. That's what happens. That's why we have rotating terms and stuff. And so we will be looking for 2 good people to fill these spots.
Are these going to be Oregon City slots?
I'm Oregon City.
And you're,
Out of area.
yeah.
So one of each.
One of each, which is great, actually, because it really opens up the field. So it'd be really nice. I think there might be 1 application so far, but it'd be really nice to get lots of applications and make the decision
Ken, it's time
difficult.
for us to stack the.
No, I wouldn't say that it is, but if you guys know some good people, that would be great. If any of you
Book
do.
Group of Greater Beaver Creek.
Greater
Well
Beaver
represented
Creek,
here
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it is already, yeah. That's
Beaver Creek
true.
is well represented, actually.
Yeah.
The women's
Yeah.
group only has 1 though, so. All right, Friday night will be a pivotal moment for see who's going to get a new candidate out.
You guys are the people that have the book group too, right? And when is that?
We meet on the second Friday of every.
Second Friday. So
Or
the
Monday.
films have changed to first Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
The documentary
That has been
film.
noted.
Yes, good. Doug and Beth were there.
Yeah.
And they really enjoyed it, so we would love to see you guys too. I think that's about it.
I think you skipped over about, you are now the new chair of the directors group.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's just,
congratulations.
oh, yeah, thanks so much. I'm also taking minutes for the Rotary Foundation. I'm the president-elect for Rotary, so I have to attend their
Wow.
board meetings as well. I'm still on the standards committee. That thing doesn't die.
Yeah, those never go away.
They never go away. Yeah. So yeah, thanks so much. I think it was kind of one of those like, oh, Mo will do it. Yeah. But it does force me to pay attention. So, right? It's not all bad. Yeah. Yeah. Skipped right over that. So questions? I'd say the library's doing pretty well. All right. Yeah.
Any questions? Seems like the RFID went really smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like a
Across
ton
the
of
whole-
planning. Denise was on the RFID committee, and this is one reason that it went really smoothly. So every once in a while, the directors make really good decisions. And as a group, we said, we were like, well, we could be in charge of making all the decisions that RFID is going to need. And we looked at each other and we were like, who are we kidding? We don't know anything about that stuff. We need people who actually work in circulation to do this. And so we each went back to our libraries and got those people, and I selected Denise, and it was just the perfect call. And she's been working hard with her group on this to like make all the decisions that made the implementation a lot smoother, and working with Network, who did an incredible job, an incredible amount of work.
Yes, Greg.
Yeah.
It's been godsend.
Our, Greg Williams, our network director, he's awesome. He's amazing. We are really fortunate to have him. So he keeps all this moving really smoothly. So thank you to Denise and her committee and to Network. It did go well.
I want to say I really appreciate your approach, at least in our library, about having somebody right there to initiate us dummies into the process. So the first time through for me, I mean, it just, here was a young lady right there to just make sure my experience was successful, and it was.
Great.
And I've actually been able to do it on my own.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
But, a lot of us just don't fully understand what that's supposed to be all about. And so, you get a little nervous, but and especially when the laser's on you.
Yeah, I know, all those lights and stuff, right?
Right. So anyway, I really think, and I've tried it out at a couple other libraries, and it's all going very swimmingly, I think.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I think so too.
But you, I think you did. I didn't notice other people at other libraries specifically there to help, and you had assigned somebody there the full time to make sure that transition happened.
Thank you for this comment. This really, really helps us a lot, because there's a lot of our staff that are like very reluctant to be out there, out in front of their desk. You know what I mean?
It was extremely useful.
Great.
She just
Yeah, it
was
was.
right there,
Good.
making it happen, and it's making you feel like it's so simple you can be successful doing it. Otherwise, you can get confused. So
Good. Thank you
Anyway,
very
I
that
much.
also
was-
feel like it keeps that personal touch, because I think a lot of the reason why people, well, not a lot, but I think one of the reasons people go to the public library is to have that human interaction. And I know for me, at points in your life where you're like a stay-at-home mom and you actually want to talk to another human being. So I understand the convenience of it, but it was really nice to have someone check in with you about it, because I do think that that's an important piece of public library work too, and it felt like you
Absolutely.
could ask a question and there was still a human being to, chat with.
Well, this is great. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, this just justifies like a lot of what Denise has been trying to get through staffs.
so tell them it's working.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
I agree.
echo, it's nice to have somebody there, some just hanging out there, you doing okay, need anything, and
Yep.
just that kind of connection and.
Just to help guide you to whatever you might need.
Well, I
Yeah.
forget her name, but she specifically said, I'm here to make sure that you can learn to use this.
Oh, that's awesome. Perfect.
And so she said, there's nothing to be concerned about. We're going to get you through this.
Good.
And I thought, that's really positive. Now, that didn't happen at the other libraries, but it was
Yeah, we've heard
in
that.
Oregon City, and that was cool.
Well, it really helped, Barrett, our youth services person, had they gone through RFID? They went through something like that.
yeah, and that
And
was
she
her.
said, early on, she goes, this is just my experience over in Crook County, that if you are not there really, really, really helping people and out in front of the desk, right by those stations, you will not get people using them. They will just stay with what they know, which is, all of us do that, right? And so we kind of took her advice and started immediately. And that's why we're at like 81% already of our first-time checkouts are through self-check. And I mean, that's what they're there for, so I think it's great. And if you're going to have the equipment, you certainly want it to be used. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Well, our investment is oriented towards putting the staff to doing human reaction or interactions with other more
Right.
important things
Right.
than checking books out.
Right. And
I
if you're
hope
not
that's what
always
it leads
checking
to.
books out, you can be there helping them use the equipment or guiding them to other parts of the library or whatever. You can have multiple conversations, so,
Right.
Is the,
thanks.
is the big value of it checking, it seems to me to be the checking back in, because it's almost
Well,
automatic then.
Yeah.
That's where the real value of the system.
That's why I really, really wanted the automated materials handler. And I was surprised that more libraries didn't get it, but now it is very expensive. And since we were in a building project, we were able to tuck that amount of money into the building project and also make sure that we had space specifically. It wasn't designed for it, but we could at least make sure that it could accommodate it, And so we were lucky in our timing on that. Even though it took a while, the design came first and the building came first, and then that came a few months later, it was still close enough together that it worked out really well. Because that's really nice. And if you want to receive, if you're one of the people that I need that for my own peace of mind to know that things are checked in, that pops right out too, And then if you're one of those big users that checks out, 50 or whatever plus books each time, then all the stuff you just turned in, it's checked in, it's off your record. So yeah, I agree, there's a lot of benefits. So, but people still walk in the building after having put their books outside.
Yeah, that one I don't get.
I don't get that. I saw somebody today, a library user, and he goes, I even brought my books in, even though I walked right by the book drop. And I'm like, yeah, we'd like you to do that, I almost want to put up signs, but people just don't put two and two together on it's to your benefit, especially now that we have the materials handler thing. But anyway, whatever. So thanks, DA.
Yeah, I think
And you
people
guys-
think there's a little
chute?
Overhaul
I think people think there is a chute, yeah.
Carting them over. It's magic. It's like everything else, right? Yeah.
I mean, I actually think people do think that's where you want them, that if you put it in there.
I kind of am wondering about that too.
I think they're probably,
That
We talked about a sign.
I think we should put up some kind of
Yeah.
good-looking sign.
help us out, walk them in.
There you go.
Ooh, good. There's the
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah. Help us out, walk them in. Yeah, you're coming in anyway. All right. Any other? Can we move on to standards?
Okay, did you have anything else you wanted to say on the other documents that you sent?
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
The report for the fire district?
The fire district, yeah, you guys should go back to your email that I sent you and look at that little PowerPoint. It's just in PDF form, so it shouldn't be any problem for any of you to bring up. But Barrett, the youth services librarian, she did a report and a presentation to the city commission on the summer reading program. And then the big cutouts of the chiefs that the kids had stuck stickers on, we presented those to the chiefs, and then the chiefs presented us with $250 and each, except that Jim Band forgot his money. But anyway, we got it from him eventually. And it was it's a very nice, succinct presentation. you know, it just kind of states the facts. It has lots of pictures with kids reading and happy and that kind of thing. And she told a couple of stories about, you know, anecdotes that she had picked up from parents and just generally relayed how successful it was. And then she's been invited to give the same presentation to the fire district board. And so then she included a picture of the presentation and, you know, everybody standing there with their big cutouts in that. And you've got that one, is what I sent to you. So that will happen next Monday, I guess, something like that. And I saw Chief Charlton today, and he's just still thrilled with the whole thing. We started the summer off with the Touch a Truck program, and he's just like, oh my God, that was so awesome. There were so many kids there. Next year we need to have like this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. You're in, that's good. And then the competition, he just loved it. You know, he just loved it. So, I mean, it's a good opportunity for them to like be out in a place where, you know, in the community being seen, even if it was just their cutout. You know, and getting kids all friendly and familiar with the police chief and the fire chief. It was, you know, it was a really good thing. So that was that.
I like these cutouts with all the stickers on them. They look like evening gowns.
I know, right? They were all covered.
Which raises questions, sort of like the gum under the table over here. Who had to count the stickers?
They kept track of those at the desk
Oh, they did?
as they handed them out.
I see.
Yes. And we did not allow any stickers on the faces or the badges. And believe me, I had to lay down that law like day one. The first sticker that went up, like went on Jim Band's nose or something. And I'm like, Barrett, no. Because she was going to allow it. And I'm like, no, I'm the director. I am not going to allow that. And it was a good thing because it was like right up to their little neckline. Yeah. So, and then I'm going to start attaching, Denise had a great idea. I'm going to start attaching the calendar of events for the month
Yeah, this is
in your
good.
package so that you can at least see kind of what's coming up.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
Looking forward to the pints from the past ones.
yeah,
Going to that.
yeah.
Have you got one for November yet?
No, we do not. I mean, we probably know what some of the events are, but nope.
Thank
And I
you.
think that about covers what I sent you guys.
Anything else, any other questions for Mo on director's report? Okay. So then we can move on to next agenda item of the standards. This is to look, I think we're up to whatever
We're up to advocacy and facilities, I think. 7 and 8.
yeah, 7, 8, the last two, I believe.
Yep. All right, so advocacy
There it
is,
is.
got it?
Yeah,
Yeah, we went
page
through
20.
Yeah, page 22, actually, on my document.
Okay.
22, 23.
On the bottom.
Okay.
So we don't want to show them.
Advocacy, yeah, page 20.
It's nice big print tonight.
Advocacy.
So this kind of goes into the
Page 20.
legislative aspects of it.
We're on 23.
Guys all with us down there?
You're on 23.
You know, we
No, no,
but
we're
now
just,
now
we're anxious.
Yeah, we're there.
You're there? Okay.
I think we're there.
So I would say this is one of my weaker ones. Collaborate with regional libraries for advocacy when able, yes. Be informed of OLA and ALA legislative issues, promote those issues whenever possible. I'm aware of them, I don't know that I promote them. Advocate for improved library service at the local, federal, state, and federal level. I guess I gave myself half a point for that. I mean, I certainly have been advocating for local library service.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we have to give all of ourselves credit for that. So, I mean, just because we have a new library and everything else, and we support the regional system.
I don't understand why you're giving yourself a half point for that.
Well, I don't know, I wrote that a long time ago, so who knows what I was thinking, Laura? I don't think I really do it
There
at
was an
the
award
state
for the
or
design. There
federal
was-
level.
Well,
Yeah.
there's
That
only.
looks like a
so much
full-time
you
job
can
if you
do.
did that.
You want us to have a federal bookmobile or something?
Well, you know, ALA's got all kinds of legislative issues that, you know, I could be supporting, but
You're doing the work on the local level.
yeah. Participate in statewide campaigns that focus on public awareness of libraries in order to garner support and funding. I didn't think I really did that.
Have there been any?
Well, I mean, in order to do this, I'd almost have to be like really tied into the legislative committee of the Oregon Library Association, and I'm just not gonna do that. It's just so much work. And it's not, I don't really feel like this is my area of strength. You know, I feel like I'm better locally. And,
Isn't this usually something you have lobbyists for and policy?
well, we do have a lobbyist and we do have a legislative committee. And, you know, we don't have to star in all these things, you know, so I mean, it's okay to say no, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like, to me, what's most important now is that you are a very upfront advocate locally, because I think the more we talk up and get people engaged in a good library here, I mean, it gets people engaged in library services, and I think that's more powerful than, you know, stuff happening at the legislature, from my perspective. I mean, I do have some concerns, how do we support some of those areas that have lost their library services? I mean, that's a serious
Well,
loss to
yeah,
us.
that's, I mean, it's difficult for us to know how to support
Yeah.
places like that. I just talked with Penny Hummel yesterday. She was the library director in Canby who became a consultant, and she is trying to help Roseburg revive their library service. So she was asking me like, well, what do you think if I asked a bunch of my library friends down here to come help with reading the collection? And I'm like, yes, because that's something concrete we actually could do to help them out. And because we all struggle with knowing what really helps. So yeah. it's a
But
good
equally
point.
powerful is that if people here in this community think library is important here,
Yep.
they talk to their friends and families
Yep.
who live
Yeah.
across
I
the
agree.
state, and then start advocating, we need to have a library. It's
Yeah,
important to my
if they see
community.
it succeeding in one spot, they do, yeah. They start wondering why they can't have that too, yeah.
The way my mind works on this little standards box here is that everything is just thrown in there like they're all equal. I don't think they are all equal. I think in relation to what we do around here, whatever number the last one here is actually would be rank ordered number one in my book. Library builds and nurtures strategic relationships with other community organizations to support common goals. I think if you don't do that, then it doesn't matter what you do on all these other things. So I'll give you high marks on that one, and that means that then you filter over into the rest one, and we're done with that one.
Excellent, I like the way you say it. Yay!
Yes?
Absolutely.
All right, then.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Star, I'm gonna put a star on
Yeah,
my,
start
Yeah.
star that one.
cotton balls work.
All right, well, so the next section, host events to which elected officials are invited to attend. You know, there are libraries who are pretty good at that. Like, I don't know. I'm not one of those people. I seem to invite who
Well,
seems appropriate.
You might
and
be in the future because you now have space to do that in.
Maybe. And Mark Meek is in Rotary, and maybe I would invite Mark to something or whatever. He's actually had some meetings
He's had some meetings here.
there,
you
which
know.
have been great. He's
And I
a-
think you had a number
definite
of
library
officials
supporter.
that, stuff during the building time.
Well, I mean, when I think of elected officials, I guess I forget to think locally.
Yeah.
And because they're they seem just like normal people to me.
They're within walking distance.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
They're here.
yeah. Have representation at events, hearings, and programs elected officials attend, that's the same thing. Maintain an active list of community interest groups and individuals, and regularly provide promotional materials and library updates. Well, I'm in
I think you
Rotary,
do that.
and I do all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Support OLA legislative day with calls, mails, and representation. I've been once. I hate those things. I know.
So you're gonna,
Laura does too, right?
is that so you irritate them?
Yeah, so you irritate them enough so that they
Yeah.
pay attention to you, exactly. Yeah. You actually give them like, they get to have their name in a book that goes into their home library or something. Yeah, I know. I don't know. All right,
And
next
do you think
section.
Are
In
these
lieu of
things
pocket
that
full of
you're
trash.
supposed to do, or are they things that board members are?
This is mostly me, I think.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so train and provide resources for external advocates for the library.
That would be us.
That you guys would be, or the friends or something like that, you know, and I mean, we don't really, like, I do provide resources, I guess. We don't really do training per se.
I mean, I think we have, a library's been built. I mean, I think that this might be chapter 2,
Right.
but given what has happened over the past year or years that, I think you've been really busy. And
It didn't happen without advocacy.
Yeah, it certainly
Yeah.
didn't, yeah, that's true.
And this also raises a question about, I don't know, I'm a pretty good reader, but I don't know if I read anything about legislation concerning libraries. I never hear it.
Yeah, there's not a lot. If it comes up, it's usually to like extend the ready to read money to teens, for instance. That came up recently, and I think
that's a
it got voted.
legislative-
Yeah, that
state
was a state legislative thing.
Okay.
That obviously we would support that. I think it was something like it wouldn't be any more money or something though. Yeah, and so then you're like cutting the throats of the kids too. It's like, no, this is a no-win situation, you know. So things don't come up legislatively very often. And like I said, Oregon Library Association does have a lobbyist. There is a whole group that kind of takes care of that kind of thing. So,
And on this last one, library communicates its value to the community. I think you're doing a lot better job now that you have somebody who's savvy with the social media. Because
yeah, Aaron's doing a great job,
your
isn't
stuff's
he?
popping up
Yeah.
with nice pictures and,
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there and everybody's saying, ooh,
Yeah,
that's really
lots of
cool.
shares, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have actually a local newspaper anymore, or certainly no notice from
Not one that we
television
don't
or
get
radio.
misquoted
That's
on,
probably
but
good too,
don't
but-
get me going.
Yeah, well, so we're doing our own job, and I think that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Aaron is
Fake
doing a
news.
great job on that. All right, well, why don't we just jump right down to the staff and supporter advocacy and see what we think about this. Staff and supporters are dedicated to the marketing and advocacy initiatives of the library. Yes. Staff and supporters serve as representatives on behalf of the library. Yes. Staff and supporters develop and nurture community stakeholders and educate with the goal of being advocates. Yes. The library provides legal and state election law training to staff and supporters as needed. You know, we've only had like one thing come up, and that was our bond issue, right? The library provides support and resources to staff and supporters to ensure that they can be successful advocates. Well, that's kind of as needed as well, I think. You know, I could probably do more there. You know, the one thing like we don't do is we don't send you guys to conferences. We could do that. I don't know how, there's limited sessions at some of these conferences that you would get stuff out of, but I don't know, there are people around who do that. Active participation in local events such as festivals and celebrations, yes. Create and nurture relationships with elected officials on community, county, and other local government, state and federal levels. Well, all the way up to federal. I don't know anybody federally. I would really like to know the Librarian of Congress, though.
Yeah, she's cool.
Right? Yeah. Participation in pertinent local and state legislative and awareness campaigns. I mean, that's the one thing that's really good about being a director and a department head is that I do know everything that's going on here, and I attend all the city commission meetings. So at least at that level, I'm really very aware, and anything that would impact us, I'm very aware of. So, okay, facilities. Community and cultural activities take place in the library. Check. Library services are readily available to all residents of the service jurisdiction. Check. Library is used by a diverse population. Check. Library is a cultural and civic partner in the community. Check. Library offers a full range of services at convenient times. I hope it's convenient. If you guys ever have any thoughts about our hours, let me know. Library is the third place for the community, and the third place being not your home, not your work, but that other place that you could go to just hang out.
The bar.
Huh?
And the bar. Corner Tavern.
I only wish I could. I only wish I could, yeah. Let me go get my liquor license, we'll do that. Community perception of the library facility is regularly assessed. Well, we did that when we were building, and we'll do that again.
Keep showing up.
Huh?
People keep showing up.
People keep showing up, they must like it. Building complies with all federal, state, and local codes, believe me.
Oh, boy.
Check, 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 right? The library adopts an emergency plan. You know, the city has a safety committee and all that. All those things are posted by the doors, all that stuff.
So I have a question on that.
Yes.
This used to be one of my little pieces of expertise.
Really?
1,000
Cool.
years ago. Yeah. Well, an emergency plan is no good if it's never practiced.
We have drills.
Grills, okay, good. Because where's the plan? Well, they open the book and try to read it when the thing's going on. So, you probably, that's good.
Yeah.
Practice that.
Well, we have like this huge city book that, you would never want to have to go through that in an emergency. But Chief Band realized recently that like all the facilities were responding a little differently to certain situations. So he brought us all together and we had conversation about certain things, and he's going to like create this little like flip chart, desktop flip chart thing that you really that will really be very usable. That like if something happens, you can like look at something really small with big bullet points and pictures that says, do this. And I think that will be really nice.
My
as well.
workplace had our emergency plan that we had one copy of it, multi-buildings, and that we could use our laptops to look it up because it was shared on the Google Drive. We're all like,
What's wrong with this plan?
there's a couple
Electricity. Okay,
factors
got it.
here. So
That's hysterical.
something that everyone can, many copies of it easily accessed.
The term emergency usually means you gotta do something in a hurry.
Yeah.
That's right. And under pressure.
If
With
you're
Yeah, and under
Wi-Fi
pressure.
might be down.
And if you gotta
Yeah.
book this.
Your
thing,
mind going, well, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
that's good.
up in the rafters.
Yeah,
That's not
it's
be
not going to
helpful.
get used.
Yeah.
No. Well, and as staff gets more practiced in having emergencies, which might be like, calling the cops on somebody or whatever, that actually really builds their confidence too. We just had a training for the second half of Monday, which was empowered training, whatever. We've already had this Galcom. And it's really good because it lets people talk about like, well, this happened and this happened and this happened and this is what I did and is that what I should have done? And these situations where it's not always black and white. Sometimes it is very clear. And the trouble with librarians, and this trainer just hits the nail on the head, is that we're in a helping profession and we are very much more likely than other people to let people intrude on boundaries that shouldn't be crossed because we're helping them. Oh, come here, look over my shoulder. And that's like way too close. You know what I mean? So it was good for a lot of our staff to hear those kinds of things to keep themselves safe.
We should teach that in library school.
Yeah, they should. I did that. Adequate space for staff duties and activities. Well, right now there is. That's all I can promise. The library ensures access to its resources. I'm on the next page now, 26. And services for patrons with disabilities. We do. We could probably do a little bit more, and we talked about that. The library includes space for patrons to access library resources via various and multiple formats and devices. We do. The library recognizes multiple audiences and accordingly provides equipment and furniture for their unique needs. Do we ever? Yeah. Lighting levels comply with standards, yes. The library provides space that aligns with the library mission and goals. Storytime space, study areas, study rooms, quiet space, yes. I think we are doing a great job on that for now. Separate spaces for staff workspace and breaks in private area for breastfeeding staff. Yes, yes, and yes. Whew, that's so nice to have.
Lactation, yeah.
Entrance is clearly visible and located on the side of the building, which most users approach. Well, we have 3 entrances, so we can't go wrong on that. Provides a convenient, safe book return location during hours that were closed. Yes, in fact, we have 2 locations. And they are accessible to people with disabilities. Well-designed interior that encourages self-directed use of the library through appropriate layout and signage. I think so. Guys agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Allocated appropriate space for a multitude of users with all materials readily available, furnished with suitable furniture and equipment. I believe so. Storage area, yes. Provides a well-lit exterior with signage that clearly identifies the building from the street, yes. Maintains a sufficient well-lit parking located near or adjacent, yes. We install signs in the community that direct people to the library. Well, there's one on Malala somewhere. I don't know that that's moved, it's been there forever.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. So we may have to, I said yes, but we maybe could use more. Allow easy access to electrical outlets and power supply, yes, even in the tables. Wi-Fi seating areas and charging stations, yes. Library continually evaluates options and plans for incorporation of technological changes. That is Aaron's job, basically, because he's the IT person as well as the PR person, so he's constantly looking at new things. The library building supports the implementation of current and future telecommunications and electronic information technologies, yes. In fact, I think we're gonna get a new phone system, by the way, because the old one stinks. Library facilities plan is reviewed and analyzed every 3 years. We can do that. Usage statistics are maintained and compared to space allocations in order to plan library facilities to meet current needs of the community. Yes. Library provides adequate space to implement full range of library services that are consistent with the library strategic plan. Yes, but we'll be doing that new strategic plan, so we can take a look at that. Professional expertise of a library planner, or library architect. Oh, yes, oh, yes. And they're expensive. Library provides meeting rooms and other spaces for community events. Yes, hallelujah. Library seeks partnerships for all new buildings.
What
What does that mean?
Well, that's an interesting
I
question.
think that one's gonna get rewritten, but I guess it would mean like, should the Friends be in here as well? Should there be a combined police building, library? I mean, we did talk about every imaginable,
At the new
right?
police station.
Oh, no. And Willamette Falls Legacy Project, something's gotta happen out there. I think for sure.
Not in
partnership
our
with the park.
lifetime.
Well,
Okay.
and I'm not too worried about it, but it should say something out there.
I think we could qualify that as a yes, though, because you really are looking at those opportunities as they come along.
Yeah. Library participates in cooperative planning and programming, yes. Library participates with local government agencies and community organizations. Oh, my thing just died. What? Yes. And then these are just tables. I didn't even figure out our thing. So that's
I
the
can't
end.
figure out how you even read this one. Square foot per capita average.
Is the .66 like a little bit more than a half a square foot then? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I don't know why it dropped in '08. Okay.
So the status of the standards is that the new rewrite, that will be a new improved version of this, is, it's still like probably months away. We were supposed to have a meeting next Monday, but 2 sections are not rewritten yet, so. And then once those get rewritten, they still need to be collated. So I think, this is all we need to do for now, and then next year at this time, we can take a look at them, and that would be like after the strategic planning process, so I think that would be like a really interesting time to do it. So we'll kind of put that on our calendar for looking at this annually, and then hopefully over time, these get easier to use because we've used them and we can improve them. But it really helps, I think, not just for you guys to kind of see what we're thinking about, but also to actually use the document so I can see like how usable or not it is. So thank you for going through that with me.
was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and hopefully it informs the next round of strategic planning.
right, yeah. Let me log into this. It doesn't like it that I was talking for so long. There we go.
Cut you out. Anything else on standards? Any questions, comments?
People please no. No more standards.
So then the next agenda item is communications. I don't know if we have a report from foundation or the sign committee or.
I can speak about the foundation briefly. We've taken a hiatus and not met, but coming on the 19th, we're having a celebration at the library, as you well know, about honoring the people who donated. So that's coming up, but there are no other major events planned that I'm aware of, so.
No, the signage has been put up. All the donor signage is up now.
Right.
It looks really good. Yeah.
So that's what they'll see when they come.
And this celebration is during the time the library is normally open during these hours?
We're closing just a little bit early that day so that we could have it from 5:30 to 7. Yeah. So.
All I know. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think
So
that's.
hiatus.
I've been working with Karen Martini on putting the signage. We have the dedication plaque and this is your library plaque. They are up and they look really, really nice. Did you see them? Yeah, they're up. They look really good with the wood against the brick and you can see the wood really well the way they did it. And I've cleaned out that area. So now, right now, all that's there is those 2 signs, but then we'll get that bench. I need to get in touch with those guys because I'd like to get that bench in before next week if I could. Yeah, it looks a lot better in the entry now.
Great.
So getting those things taken care of.
Any meetings of the sign
We
committee?
have no meetings, but there's been some progress, kind
On
of
the sign committee?
yeah.
Actually, I got the sign, the guy that's gonna do the sign design got in touch with me and asked for some language for some concept stuff. And then that's where we are. They're going through a process of renaming the park, potentially. They discovered that the
Why
park
is it
didn't
never
officially have a name or something. And yeah, so everybody's been calling it Library Park and now it might change to Carnegie Park. And I'm like, I don't care. We're the Oregon City Public Library and it's not changing. And that's charter and I don't want to change the charter. So that's where we're at with that. As far as LDAC is concerned, we haven't met for a while.
Nope. Best months of my life.
I know. It's a horrible meeting. We're basically working on.
Point Don to a committee and
Poor guy. It's a horrible meeting. Yeah.
Could we appoint you to the presidency and just get government
I
stop?
would do a great job. Just
So it
answer
hasn't
what?
met.
What do you want to do? Okay,
Well, we met twice, but not recently.
sounds good to me.
They're mostly about getting information from us to be sure that the district money is being well spent to the point of way beyond what I think they should have influence on. We should talk about programs and this and that. And it's like, no, you shouldn't. The library board doesn't even talk about that. It's that's what you pay us for. So, yeah. So they don't invite me to speak though, because they don't want to hear from directors. They just want to hear from people like Dawn who are on the board. I just have to sit there and listen. Not exactly my
You
expertise.
just whisper in his ear.
She does that.
Yeah, I do that.
Anything else before we move on to future agenda items? Anything else? Okay. So future agenda items, board member, so we'll be doing board member interviews next month? Is that what you're thinking?
We could do that in November and December, depending on who applies and what I see. Yeah.
And
so we'll
is it
need to
still open
decide.
or is it closed? I don't even know.
I think it's still open.
Okay.
I don't know what the closing date is. I think in the past, we've mostly done it in December.
Okay.
Because we haven't really discussed what we want to ask them,
Okay. So next meeting, we'll talk about what we want to ask on the interviews.
Probably, yeah.
Thinking about that.
And then I just completed the annual state library report. It gets turned in every year by October 1st. So I can bring that to you guys and show it to you,
Okay.
or send it to you first, obviously. And it's kind of weird because it's like, June 30th through July, so it's always, you're still reflecting a little bit in the past, but I always get mixed up on what period of time I'm supposed to be talking about, actually. So we can look at that. It's kind of nice because it compares year to year. Or you can look up and have last year's stuff showing anyway. So you can see definite progress in some areas, like expansion of square footage, for instance, which is really nice.
Show up.
Yeah.
Any other future agenda items? Any other business? Meeting is adjourned at 6:03.